let's get into this agenda check. We have, I believe, 6 written down here, so we'll dive into this. Starting with the Rusnak is terrible agenda, which is we haven't really heard that much from the purveyors of that agenda in recent weeks. But I mean, I'm just ready to say it. Like, it's diminished to the point of being entirely dead. He has 14 goal contributions on the year, including 8 in the last 5 games, of which Seattle has won 4. He's up to double-digit assists. He's playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
So I understand why people were frustrated with it earlier in the year. I think we shared some of those frustrations. We talked quite openly about how we were unsure at best regarding his DP status on the roster, and that he was arguably more of a TAM player. But any player can always prove any take like that wrong by producing, and that's what he's doing right now. And he looks every bit like a DP number 10. The Jordan Morris at the 9 agenda, we already talked about that, but strengthened another really good goal in this game. He's got the city on his back. 7 goals in his last 9 games. You've got the hottest number 10 and the hottest number 9 both playing for the same team, your Seattle Sounders.
I don't know
now.
If they're both the hottest in the league, but I
mean, I'm just saying statistically, like I'll go back through it a little bit more today. But I don't think you're going to be able to find a number 10 that has 8 goal contributions in the last 5 games, nor are you going to be able to find a number 9 that has 7 goals in his last 9 games. Like, I'm just talking output right now. I'm not talking
That's
about
fair,
eye
actually.
test. And like, honestly, it doesn't really matter like whether they're technically the hottest. They are certainly among the hottest, which I think is the important takeaway here. Paul Rothrock, I think we got this far into the show, Noah, and we have not talked about. I guess we did talk about him a little bit.
We noted it,
but usually
he's just a staple.
Usually
now,
we
Ari.
do 10 to 15 minutes on Paul Rothrock per section of the show. So this is our first really in-depth look at the story of Paul Rothrock in this game. I mean, my take on the agenda is I put not skyrocketed, but strong as ever. I thought it was good to see him start the game, first of all. And I thought his presence and energy again was good, even though he didn't bring the score sheet. And, I was thinking about, remember the play pretty early in the game where, Yamar won the ball back and he one-timed it to Rothrock, and when Rothrock made a solo run to the top of the area and he took a shot, deflected off the defender, and it ended up going to the goalkeeper, and it wasn't particularly close to being a goal. But like, I remember thinking, like, after that play, like, that's like, I appreciate that he just like tries stuff like that. I think a lot of what's happened with Seattle's attack this year, like when it was struggling, is that I think guys were in their own head a little bit, and it felt very tentative, and guys were like afraid to take chances. And Rothrock doesn't give a fuck, dude. Like,
No.
he just goes out there and like
he plays every game like it's his last.
Exactly, and I love that about him. Like it's a little there's like shades of Dempsey was like that, man. Like he played every game like it was his last, and would just like he would just try stuff in the moment, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But I don't know. I appreciate the innovative nature to try, even like when it's not necessarily the most high percent. Like, that shot that he took, it's like, sure, sometimes you take that shot and it's a deflection and it might go in, So I don't know. That was my Paul Rothrock takeaway for the week. He didn't find the stat sheet. The agenda didn't skyrocket, but I think as it stands right now with De La Vega still getting fit, like I saw nothing that dissuaded me from my belief that he should be starting right now.
Yeah, I think also if he played more minutes, obviously they had to sub him off because they have to keep him ready for the Open Cup where he's going to score 45 goals on Wednesday. But I mean, who would you rather have out there, Paul Rothrock or Leo Chu? Because I feel like when you play Leo Chu the ball, he's very one-dimensional. And when you get the ball to Paul Rothrock, like, he'll try shit. He'll do shit that's not gonna be run it up the wing, up to the byline, to the end line, and look for a cross. He'll do that, or he'll just start sprinting straight towards the goalkeeper and rip off a shot, you know?
Yeah. And he makes goal dangerous runs too.
Yeah.
So like that if you look at the goals that he's been scoring this season, they're mostly just he's charging towards the goal and getting right on the doorstep and getting like a tap in finish. And then he had the one goal in Houston where he really made that one happen. Remember, he like clipped it over the guy, hit it off the goalkeeper, and then scored the rebound. But yeah, I mean, the agenda is strong as ever. It lives. Obed Vargas strengthened, another assist. That assist that's a good play. That's a heads up play. He puts himself in good position there, and then also to spot the header, hit it accurately, like put it right in the spot. Rusnak had a ton of space, but it's still a nice play by Obed to put himself in position to win the ball, find the pass, and it leads to a goal. 5 assists, so he's got 6 goal contributions now this year, which I think, again, that's the most exciting thing for me with Obed is that stat sheet production. That's what I've been waiting to see from this group of homegrowns, and he's really, I mean, like if you consider that he's played most of his time this year as a defensive midfielder, and then briefly there was the period where he was playing right mid, which remember we were really excited about that. I thought that looked really good at times, but 6 goal contributions at this point in the season from a guy who's primarily been playing in your defensive midfield. That's great. Like if JP was at 1 goal, 5 assists at this point in the season, I think we would be thrilled with that. So the fact that Obed is giving you that production, along with all the other stuff that he does, like he was the one who we haven't even talked about the Javi Arriaga revenge game, but he drew a yellow on Javi. Shout out to Javi. That could have been a red.
Should have been.
It honestly, like, look,
it should have been a red.
I'm not gonna get like pressed about that, but definitely could have been a red, which I thought was honestly an appropriate Javi Arriaga like reunion event. Yeah. It's like, he makes his return to Lumen Field, triumphant return, and immediately in the first half almost gets sent off. To be fair, I thought he actually had a pretty good game.
He's been playing really good for them.
Well, yeah, and like I was thinking about this too, like one of the reasons, so like the Revs going into this game, they had gotten boat raced by the Crew recently, but other than that, they had won 4 straight at one point. I think they won 5 of 6 or something. They've been playing a lot better after a historically bad start. And I honestly think, like, if you ask Caleb Porter this, he would probably tell you a big reason they've been playing better is the stability that Javi has brought them at the CB spot. They were just, with injuries and everything, they were severely lacking bodies at that spot, and he's come in there and just been a solid starting MLS CB for them, and it's helped them quite a bit. And I think you kind of saw why in this game. Like he did almost kill Obed, but he played pretty well. But anyway, that play by Obed, he was making stuff. He forced Javi into a bad foul. He had the assist. The kid is just good, man. He's just like I get excited to watch him play every week because it seems like every week he gets a little better, a little more confident. He's impacting games. It is a full on breakout season when you think about the impact that he's having on these games, combined with the actual stat sheet production that he's now providing.
Yeah, it's gonna suck to see him leave. Like I want him to be on this team forever. Genuinely, like he's a talented player. I mean, I'm gonna root for him wherever he goes. Genuinely, and especially with the news that Monterrey made a bid for him. I think that it was reported that it was like $3 million.
You got to get a bigger bag than that.
Which like they're not going to sell him for that. So
$10 million, or I'm hanging up the phone.
Damn right. Give us that bag.
The Stephen Fry is washed, NDT should start agenda diminished.
Yeah.
This was Stephen Fry's best game of the season.
Easily.
That double save, so that's where it, like, I understand, and I think Stephen Fry himself would tell you that there's been too many goals this year that he let in that should have been saved. But like that double save that he makes, I don't know if Andy T makes that. Like maybe he does, and it's not to take away from anything from Andy T. We're a pro Andy T podcast. Andy T has played like an MLS #1 this year, but
that's a veteran move.
That's a veteran move. We've seen Stephen Fry do that so many times over the years. For me, there's just pretty much no one that, even with the bad goal concessions that there's been this year, just based on track record, there's no one that I really trust more in an individual game or in a big game situation or in a big moment. Like, we've just seen him do it so many times. And it wasn't even just the double save, honestly. Like, without Stephen Fry, like, this easily could have been a draw, at least, you know. But he made the double save, and then there was at least one or two more really good reaction saves. So I think the Stephen Fry is washed stuff. It's not looking like a very powerful agenda this week.
I was a purveyor. I was a starter.
You were a purveyor.
You know, I gotta write my apologies to Stephen 40-year-old Fry, because he could start for another 5 seasons potentially. I think at this point,
might play into his 50s.
Let him.
No, you had one on Raul. What did you want to cook on there?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I know after both Nuhu and Raul got suspended, obviously coming back, Nuhu starting his first game back. I'm correct on that, right? I'm not imagining that. Yeah, his first start back, he played pretty good. I thought he played pretty good.
Defense got a clean sheet.
Yeah, and there was clearly, an attitude shift, and Raul coming off the bench and looking way better than he has in a while. Obviously, he didn't score, so that's not like that's all you're looking for from him. But in the limited minutes that he played, he looked way more energized than if he would be starting.
Yeah, it's not what you want in terms of resource allocation to be having your big time DP number 9 as a super sub. It is a pretty nasty super sub to have, and I think there was something to Caleb Porter's point with that, which is that De La Vega and Rui Diaz coming off the bench. I mean, that's potent.
Yeah,
that's potent. It's kind of a demonstration of the type of depth that we thought and hoped this team had going into the year. You know, every time you go into the year, you're always thinking of it like, man, if everyone stays healthy, like who do you even start? Like, you're going to be able to rotate it so that and you have this guy coming off the bench, and then it's always like injuries and poor form just blow up whatever your expectations were. But with the team getting a little healthier, we're actually kind of seeing what it's like when they have their full depth at their disposal, and it's been pretty nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, my agenda, I guess, in general is just that Raul super sub, it went up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe not skyrocketed, but strengthened.
It's there. Raul's value is going up, I would say, at that position. Not for the price, but, whatever.